بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون إنكم بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون
Hello there, this is GRTS News broadcasting for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. In the headlines this hour, up to 500 Gambians benefit from free eye care services, courtesy of the First Lady Fatoumata Bah Barrow Foundation, meant to combat blindness and other eye-related problems. At least 11 Gambians, including 6 children, died in Bronx, New York, during a fire outbreak in an apartment predominantly occupied by Gambian immigrants. Plus, dozens of small ruminant farmers across the country receive funds worth over $500,000 to enhance their work. In sports, head of the Gambia national football team, Tom Saintfiet, states that his boys are well poised for a positive state in the Africa Cup of Nations. This as Gambian fans arrive in Cameroon to support the Darling Scorpions. Away from home, US and Russia show no sign of narrowing their differences on Ukraine in Geneva talks after nearly 8 hours of negotiations. Well, that's the top of the news and much more coming ahead with me, Fatu Ilika Muloshi. Many thanks for joining us. Welcome to the news. We begin this bulletin with the president's victory celebrations in Basse, where tens of thousands of NPP supporters converge at the Basse Mini Stadium in URR to mark the national celebration of President Adama Barrow's landslide victory in the December 4th elections. President Barrow, in his victory speech, revealed plans to inaugurate new projects shortly after his swearing-in ceremony to mark his new mandate. Mama J was in Basse and spoke to some jubilant fans.
The victory wrapped up 28 days of campaign in what was a highly contested election in Gambia's political history. The December 4th election saw 962,157 registered voters, where the incumbent President Adama Barrow of the Party won a decisive victory with 457,519 votes, while his closest rival, lawyer Usainu Dabo of the United Democratic Party, got 238,253 votes. Out of the 457,519 votes that gave President Adama Barrow a clear win in the recent presidential election, the Upper River region contributed about 75,378 votes. Hence the reason why the victory celebrations in Basse, following President Barrow's promise during the campaign that any region that came out with the highest votes during the election will host the national victory celebrations. The provincial capital of Basse erupted in celebrations last weekend. It was a glorious day for the people of Upper River region and Basse in particular, as NPP's victory sparked celebrations across the country, including many of the communities that swept the polls in the recent elections that gave President Adama Barrow another 5-year mandate. Supporters of President Barrow's NPP-led coalition flooded into the streets amid fanfare and jubilations. The crowd filled up the Basse Mini Stadium with supporters cheering, singing, and dancing. It was a sound of pure joy and pride from the celebrants. Some of the supporters who spoke to GRTS, including Alhaji Abdullahi Pane of Tubakuta in the Kombo East constituency, Olimatu Koli, Njeme Ba, Basiru Dukure, Momo Bojang, and Ramatulai Ba all shared their excitement about President Barrow's landslide victory. The advisor to the president, Dudu Sano, thanked all the party executives, MPP supporters, and Gambians in general for giving President Adama Barrow another 5-year mandate to continue his development initiatives across the country. Former governor of the URR, Alhaji Omar Khan, and the Alkali of Basse, Honorable Seluba, joined Governor Sambaba to thank the people of Basse for the massive victory, which symbolizes more hope for the people of URR, who are still expecting more development to make an impactful change in the region.
It means that people have decided. But again, Upper River Region 2 have also already decided. And then we all know there are so many factors that culminate to Upper River Region at least coming out what we call victorious in the last election. We all know the unprecedented projects that His Excellency, the President of the Republic, did in Upper River Region are so huge that definitely the people of Upper River also deem it very necessary to make sure that at least they pay back to what the government of His Excellency and His Excellency did for the people of Upper River Region.
While many people across the country rejoice over the win, others from the opposition lamented President Barrow's landslide victory. However, efforts to reconcile Gambians from widely divergent political stands is equally important for the president to ensure national peace and development. The election victory gives Gambians renewed hope that the country will continue to see unprecedented development in the next 5 years, as President Adama Barrow enumerates his development programs and projects to be inaugurated across the country as he begins his new mandate. The president thanked Gambians for the trust and confidence bestowed in him by voting massively during the elections. He therefore called on Gambians to put aside their political differences and work towards national reconciliation, peace, and development. Meanwhile, President-elect Adama Barrow will be sworn in as the third president of the Republic of the Gambia on January 19th at the Independence Stadium in Bakau. Mama J, GRTS.
Meanwhile, Fatoumata Bah Barrow Foundation, in collaboration with the World Muslim League, has organized a free eye care camp for people living with vision problems in the Gambia. Janke Toure has the details.
It is another important initiative by the First Lady through her foundation with the aim of combating blindness in the Gambia. The foundation has partnered with the World Muslim League and Sheikh Zayed Regional Eye Care Center to conduct free medical caravan, including free eye examinations and cataract surgery to some 500 Gambians, including the elderly and school children. At the Brukama Health Center, where 150 patients underwent the treatment program, First Lady Barrow took a conducted tour of the facility to see the ongoing surgery exercise. While thanking her partners for the gesture, Madam Barrow highlighted the significance of quality health care, noting that health care should be a matter of concern to all.
First, praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving me the chance to come and witness this first case, and I will advise Gambians, if you feel anything with your eyes, come out and be helped by these doctors and professors from Nigeria, because I believe the eye is the most important part of the body. You can repair with cataract, but when it is glaucoma, it is unrepairable. I'm asking every Gambian to be knowing their status. Health is number one. To me, I value health more than anything, and I believe a healthy nation, a wealthy nation. And I'm thanking my partners like Muslim World League for giving me this chance to save 500 Gambians, and we hope and pray that we do more than this. And I'm asking if we can collaborate from now to see whether we can get more than 500 more to be done before 3 months' time.
Muhammad Ahmad Al-Tai, on behalf of the World Muslim League, assured their continuous collaboration with FAB Foundation.
Alhamdulillah, we have started work on Saturday. We have done 209 cases successfully in Sheikh Zayed, and today is first day for us in Brikama. We are targeting to do 150 cases, and then on Thursday we are going to move to Soma, and we are targeting the 50 patients. So our target in Gambia for this year will be 500. We are looking for the future for more cooperation here with the First Lady Foundation, so we can do more cases here in Gambia.
Governor of West Coast Region Lamin Sane expressed gratitude to the foundation in providing quality health care to the doorsteps of Gambians.
It's very good because most of the guys are complaining of their eye problem, so they are use their sight. But you can see that we visit all the centers, all the areas, but even in Assam, where as well as the doctors from Assam on the eye. So definitely it's a very good move.
The caravan team is expected to conduct similar exercise at the Soma and Bansang Health Center in the coming days. Janke Toure, GRTS News.
Now to this press release, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad is deeply saddened to inform the public that 11 Gambians, including 6 children, have died in the fire that broke in Bronx, New York on Sunday, 8th January 2022. A media release from the Foreign Ministry says that the apartment ravaged by the fire has been predominantly occupied by Gambian immigrants. According to the release, latest information from the Gambia's permanent representative in New York and ambassador in Washington indicate that others are still missing, but efforts are underway to locate them. The dispatch further states that the permanent mission and the embassy in Washington are working with the authorities in the city of New York with a view to locating survivors and also assisting the injured. The release further adds that the officials are in touch with the families concerned and that some have already been found and reunited with their families. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, on behalf of the Gambia government, sends its heartfelt condolences to the grieving families for this tragic loss. The ministry prays for God's infinite mercy and forgiveness on the departed souls. The public will be regularly updated as we go through these trying times, the release concludes. Now, away from that, more than $500,000 fund was on Tuesday disbursed to over dozens of small ruminant farmers, meant to enhance the capacity of small ruminant farmers across the country. Babasila reports on the program presided over by the Minister of Agriculture, Ami Fabure.
This is a $3 million project earmarked for the promotion of small-scale ruminant farmers launched earlier in 2019. Scores of small-scale farmers across the country receive checks through two local financial institutions, the Gambia Teachers Union, Cooperative Credit Union, and Supersonic Microfinance, which signed a contract with the Ministry of Agriculture for the disbursement of the funds during the entire project. The project director, Mahmoud Njai, gave a brief rationale of the scheme and how it is being rolled out.
It's a major milestone in the implementation of the Small Ruminant Production Enhancement Project. This is one of the major components. This was a component. It was something that the farmers have long been crying for, especially during the development of the project, which is access to finance. The Honorable Minister will dilate on that. But just to inform you that this is as a result of a selection, a procurement process that we followed to select two microfinance institutions that has some knowledge on Islamic microfinancing.
Welcoming the Well-Time Initiative, which has always been the policy of the government to enhance the status of the farmers, the representative of the two microfinance institutions outlined their responsibility as financial institutions supporting the agro project.
We knew very well that it is out there to support the production of small ruminants to ensure that the cost of meat in this country will come down to the BRS minimum. We knew that we have a responsibility. Immediately we put ourselves together, look at the document, trying to fill the document to ensure that all what is needed so that the Gambia will not lose. If we fail to provide what is required, it's going to be a total loss to this nation.
This is one of the steps of the project itself. We received so many applications after the approval of the process and the disbursement, and we've done our pre-selection process after the referral from regional directors. And 60% of them are all referred back to go and work on the documentations. We must ensure that this project is successful. Successful not for me, not for you, but for generations to come.
The Minister of Agriculture renewed the government's commitment in boosting the standard of farmers through microfinance schemes and called for proper collaboration to ensure the successful implementation of the project.
As a country, we need to do things by ourselves. Because previous speakers, they mentioned it here. During Tobaski, we spent a lot of millions outside this country to purchase more ruminant so that our people can benefit from Tobaski ram. And as a ministry, we said no to that. That's why this project is our baby. And we want to ensure that this project is fully implemented and benefits our rural people, our livestock farmers, and even the communities.
As part of the first disbursement, Gambia Teachers Union Cooperative Credit Union doled out $2,400,000 to 4 farmers, while Supersonic Microfinance gave out $1,400,000 to 5 beneficiary farmers. Sustainability is now a big issue as officials advance the project implementation to impact a lifetime of agricultural development towards food and nutritional security. Baba Silla for GRTS News.
Moving on, Young Volunteers for the Environment, the Gambia, in partnership with WaterAid UK and Sanitation and Water for All Network on Tuesday, began a 2-day capacity building forum for CSOs, media and NGO on water resource management, WASH, data research, social accountability and policy influencing. Kariatu Juara reports.
The forum brought together influential stakeholders in the Gambian society to discuss gains made on water sanitation management. The theme for the program is Secure Water, Empowered Citizens, the Essential Role of Social Accountability, up WASH and warm solutions for broader impact. Speaking at the ceremony, the Executive Director of Young Volunteer for the Environment described the training as timely as it creates more understanding of the different stakeholders and strengthen capacity to build connections that will enhance wash and water resource management strategies.
This capacity building workshop is possible with the support of WaterAid UK and the Sanitation and Water for All organization through its catalytic grant support for the CSO constituency to strengthen civil society, media, and NGOs' capacity to influence policies and legislative framework at local and national levels. Our mission as members of the Sanitation and Water for All partnership is to eliminate inequalities in realizing the human rights to water and sanitation by raising political will, ensuring good governance, and helping to optimize financing.
Dr. Buba Manjang from Public Health Department stated that the training will adequately improve transparency, integrity, and accountability in water supply and sanitation in the Gambia, while advising the participants to make best use of the opportunity.
The social accountability for wash secure future is essential in building and sustaining the political will to eliminate inequalities in WASH, while equally championing the multi-sector stakeholder approaches towards achieving universal access to services in the effective delivery of WASH. Social accountability means improving institutional performance through bolstering citizen engagement and the public responsiveness.
Other speakers, including the Deputy Director, National Nutrition Agency, Dr. Dauda Baji, and Majority Leader, National Assembly and Human Rights Advocate, Keba Kebaro, respectively, commended the brilliant idea in organizing a capacity-building workshop on water resource management. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Khadija Tujuara.
Now, in another development, the Gambia Teachers Union convened a media briefing to reaffirm that the proposed government new pay scale does not disadvantage teachers, contrary to the news trending on social media. The news has been on social media since December 23rd, when the government of the Gambia made the disclosure to introduce new pay scale for civil servants, which allegedly did not go down well with many. Louis Mendy has the details.
Public Management Office PMO has announced a proposed new pay structure for civil servants, and the Gambia Teachers Union is saying that the government has not invented anything new that downgraded teachers. The Tuesday press conference organized by the Gambia Teachers Union was designed to counter the news trending on social media that the proposed new pay scale by the government puts teachers at a disadvantaged position. Esther Sow is the Deputy General Secretary at the Gambia Teachers Union.
In fact, the report categorically indicated that, the job evaluation report, and I quote, job evaluation has shown that most of the jobs in the teaching cadre are undergraded and therefore underpaid relative to other jobs. This is what has been categorically mentioned in the report. And then the grading structure is in response to this particular clause in particular. In this vein, and on the contrary, the teaching job has been given an added relative value both laterally and horizontally.
Mr. Sow said the union has been engaging the PMO on the proposed new pay structure, and the fact remains that teachers are not marginalized, as already believed by many who are swayed by some fake news from the social media.
So in all our comparisons, we were able to confirm that the error was actually from people comparing what has been proposed for teachers against what is currently being paid. And we are all aware that the new pay scale that has been adopted, that is option D, has been reduced from grades 1 to 12 to 1 to 11.
Babkar Diouf, the General Manager at the Gambia Teachers Union Cooperative Credit Union, said teachers have a cause to remain calm as the new pay structure has not let them down the slightest compared to other sectors.
Teachers are the only profession, teaching is the only profession the report highlighted, that we are undergraded, we are underpaid in relation to other jobs. It's only teachers that the report identified such a positive in favor of.
The Gambia Teachers Union promotes the welfare of teachers, and as Mr. Juve puts it, the teaching fraternity should endeavor to trust them and allow them to fight for their cause in a just way all the time. Teacher strike, he said, is never the solution.
Some of us, we are so animated. We had started thinking of putting our tools down. Let me remind my colleagues, industrial action is expensive. It has implications for national development. That is why we shouldn't be rushing to put on our striking caps.
Ismaila Cisse is the president of the Gambia Teachers Union.
The letter was also dispatched to the PMO to at least invite them for a session to give us some explanations about the background to the new pay structure.
The government proposed new pay scale is work in progress, and as such, the draft grading structures for the teachers' cadre is understood to be subjected to the Ministry of Education's input, but as it stands, there is relative value-added consideration of the teaching job. Louis Mendy, GRTS.
Well, the Organization of Catholic Men for Development have recently presented over $84,000 worth of materials to St. Peter's Junior in Lamin. Yoro Jallo has more in this report.
The organization, set up by young Gambian Catholic men, was established in December 2012, meant to support each other as well as the Gambia to enhance socio-economic development.
How do we take care of these young men? How do we encourage them from this, stage so that they can be motivated and highly, ready to and committed to take over the mantle of leadership? Because, it's succession. We have priests that are aging, and then we need young ones, so we need to encourage these young men, and encouraging them is giving them whatever kind of support, even just a moral booster of saying, keep it up, is enough motivation for them to keep up the spirit. And, because it's not easy. They don't work. They don't earn anything, so we need to sustain them and keep them cheerful and keep them going.
Patrick Prera, the chairman of the Organization of Catholic Men for Development, acknowledged the excellent efforts and contribution of the organization, describing them as patriotic Gambians who are committed in complementing efforts in various sectors.
As a group of men that have come together, our aim is to complement what is being done by other groups so that we also can do and support the church. All of these amount to the $85,000. So we want to say thank you to Father Pascal and his seminarians, and also to all the parishioners of the diocese, because it's across the diocese that people came and supported. So we hope that next year we'll be able to do more. This is the little we can do, but with the support of everybody, we will always be able to support the diocese and also the seminary.
Director of St. Peter's Junior Seminary, Pascal Mendy, used the opportunity to outline the numerous services rendered by the seminary to Gambians, especially the young aspiring priests. He therefore hailed the donors for the gesture and assured that the donated materials will be properly utilized.
It's a good gesture. It's our church, it's our seminary, it's our diocese. If we don't do it, who will do it? So it's a good move, and I pray that keep it up. And I pray that all that also emulate you people to see the need and the concern of our seminary, our diocese. So together we will build up a better church and a better diocese.
For GRTS News, this is Yoro Jallo reporting.
We will be back with news, our sports news, right after this break. Do stay. Welcome back. Now, Gambian fans have arrived in Cameroon to support the Scorpions in the African Cup of Nations. The fans, who are among a delegation airlifted by the Gambia government to support the national team in its maiden appearance in Africa's biggest football event, and are already making their presence felt in Cameroon. MS Jallo is covering the AFCON for us, and he files in this report.
After nearly 3 hours of flight from Banjul to Douala, Gambian fans arrived in Cameroon to cheer the national team. The delegation numbered 150, including members of the National Scorpions Fan Club, officials of the Sports Ministry and the Gambia Football Federation, plus security personnel, medics and the media were airlifted to Cameroon by the Gambia government on board a chartered flight.
This is a historic moment for the Gambia and its citizenry. I mean, having to come to Cameroon and then witness this maiden edition of the African Cup of Nations is a moment of joy. We will have to thank the government through the line ministry.
They were welcomed on arrival by Gambians residing in Cameroon. We are very excited to see their countrymen and women arriving for the month-long flagship football event.
Nathalie Jampuka, Gambian welcome to Cameroon.
Absolutely, it's a great feeling and it's a great honor for me as a Gambian, for the first time Gambian qualifying and playing in this African Cup of Nations in Cameroon here. I'm here witnessing it live because this is a history making for everybody.
And the AFCON newcomers wasted little time to announce their presence at the continent's showpiece football tournament, as the sound of the drums soon echoed around the Douala International Airport. And the message from the traveling fans was, "Cameroon, here we come." The Gambia is appearing in the Africa Cup of Nations for the first time, and that makes it even extra special for these boisterous Scorpion fans to have finally got the chance to support their team in Africa's biggest football event after so many years of heartbreaks.
We are ready to support, and then we have been waiting for this for so long. Come against Mauritania, as I said the last time, we will shake the stadium.
ñun daal ambiance foo ko seetlu rek romba nañ fa su soobee yàlla di leen joxe luñ am ak luñ amul yëpp because boy jaral nañ ko.
This is our first time of appearance, inshallah. Then we're gonna show the whole world we are not a small nation by a name, but we are big.
One man who has lived and seen it all, from the formative years through the rough journey to the historic qualification, is Cherno Bara Toure, a former national team coach in the early 1980s and the most elderly amongst the delegation, could not hide the joy of living to witness the Gambia reaching the AFCON for the first time.
I was so happy. But the other one why I was sad was because the people that started the ball rolling are absent today. This is our first participation. We must put all hands on deck to make sure that we do a good reputation. We must show a good performance.
And after being held up at the airport for nearly 9 hours due to some travel arrangements, the Gambian delegation finally left Douala, Cameroon's commercial capital, and arrived at the western city of Limbe in the early hours of Tuesday, where the Gambia Scorpions will open their first AFCON campaign against the Mourabitans of Mauritania on the 12th, and then an all-African contest against the Eagles of Mali on the 16th, before a final showdown with the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia, set for January 28th at the Omnisport Stadium in Limbe.
It has been a long wait, but finally it is happening, and the sound of the drums reverberating here in Cameroon as the Scorpions are set to debut in Africa's showpiece football event. And the Scorpions Fans Club are ready to rally behind them to sting any opponent that might come their way. Mohamed Jallo, Jata Sports, in Douala.
Well, we anticipate a mind-blowing event tomorrow. In the meantime, the head of the Gambia national team has told journalists in Cameroon that his side is well poised for a positive state to the Africa Cup of Nations. Tom Senfiet was speaking on Tuesday morning at the pre-match press conference ahead the Gambia debut in Africa's biggest football event. The Scorpions will open their campaign against Mauritania on Wednesday at the Omnisport Stadium in Limbe. Jallo is our man in Cameroon.
This was the moment the Gambia's coach Tom Saintfiet arrived at the Omnisport Stadium for his first AFCON press conference. The Saint, as he is fondly called, was accompanied by his team captain Pamoudou Diagne as the duo faced the media in the pre-match press conference. The Belgian tactician, who is appearing in the Africa Cup of Nations for the first time, described it as a great feeling to be leading a Gambian side that is equally debuting in the showpiece football event. Responding to questions about Wednesday's game against Mauritania, the Gambian coach said his players are ready to put up a brave fight against their much-fancied opponents in Group F and hope for a positive start in their first AFCON adventure.
The atmosphere is good. Naturally, it has an impact if you could play 2 friendly games, if you could train 2 weeks together, it's more optimal. But we can't change it. I don't like to look backwards, I like to look forwards, and I think I have a quality group of players. I have very committed and players with the heart. We did in the past already amazing results against top nations in African football, and I'm sure we will be ready for the tournament.
The Belgian tactician with his captain both held the spirit in the Gambian camp and the determination to do well in the tournament, despite being underdogs.
What are our objectives? Yeah, as a coach, as an athlete, as a sportsman, you want to win every match. It's not realistic, I know. There's no team who can win every match, but we will start every game with the ambition to win. We know we are the small country, we are 150 in the world. Our first opponent, Mauritania, is 103. Mali is even much better, and Tunisia is a top 30 country in the world and played World Cup. Both Mali and Tunisia are in the running for Qatar World Cup. So we are the underdog. But when we started with Gabon, Angola, and DRC in the group, we were also the worst ranked team. We were the underdog. Hopefully we can make a surprise. But for me, the most important is we have a group of some experienced players and a lot of young players. I want to develop Gambian football so that in the future, Gambia is more frequently on the big tournaments.
The boys are really prepared. As the coach said, we have some difficulties, but that is in the past. But we are just looking forward for tomorrow's game, you know. And the camp, everybody is ready. We are in good gear, you know, ready to go. But we know it's going to be difficult playing our first game for the AFCON, playing against Mauritania, as the coach said. They are better ranking, you know, all the teams, you know. We are the underdogs, we know that. But as the coach said, we will do our best, fight for our country, and see what will be our result in the end of the game.
The Saint and his captain left the pre-match press conference feeling relaxed, hoping to return on Wednesday and have the job done, but expecting a tough contest against the Morabitans of Mauritania. The Scorpions had their final training session Tuesday evening ahead of tomorrow's showdown.
Well, it's just under a matter of few hours until the Gambia's long-awaited debut in the Africa Cup of Nations. And all is set here at the Omnisport Stadium in Limbe for the historic clash between the Scorpions of the Gambia and the Morabitans of Mauritania. Can the Scorpions got their campaign off to a flying start with a sting of the Scorpions? Tomorrow will tell. Mohamed Jallo, JRT Sports at the Omnisport Stadium in Limbe, Cameroon.
Well, Besuba. The first edition of Esambai FAL-sponsored football championship final in Fas Njaga Choi, Lower Nyomi district in the North Bank region, failed to produce a winner between hosts Fas United and Medina Daru when fans of Fas United entered the football field to oppose a penalty which was awarded to Medina Daru in the dying minutes of extra time of the game when hosts were leading by 1-0 played by the Fas Njaga Choi football ground. Well, we take another short break. International news is up next. Stay. Welcome back. Time to look at other news beyond our borders, starting off in Geneva, where the U.S. Deputy Secretary of State, Winnie Simon, said he does not know if Russia is prepared to de-escalate tensions with Ukraine. The two sides give no sign of narrowing their differences on Ukraine after nearly 8 hours of negotiation on Monday in Geneva. Moscow Washington that it has no plan to invade Ukraine, while U.S. negotiators rejected Russia's demand to ban NATO further east expansion. Despite no breakthrough, both sides offered to keep talking. CGTN has more.
Between Russia and the United States was held at the U.S. mission to the United Nations here in Geneva. The meeting was between two delegations which were headed from the Russian side by Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov and from the U.S. side from the Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman. But this meeting focused on bilateral relations and the security situation in Ukraine. Russia has deployed thousands of its troops near the border with Ukraine, which the US and Kiev say it's a clear posture for potential invasion. Russia denied plans for an invasion and once again, after the talks on Monday, said it has no plans to invade Ukraine. However, Russia wants guarantees from the United States and that NATO will not expand into Ukraine. Moscow sees the Ukrainian membership in NATO as a direct threat to its security. The US has called these demands unviable and said that one country cannot change the borders of another by force. Well, the sides called their talks difficult yet professional. They said that the meeting was to hear each other out and any decisions are expected to be made at the end of the week following talks with NATO in Brussels and the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe in Vienna. Russia said talks with NATO will be critical and that it needs some movement by NATO to find a compromise and a balance of interests. Julia Lubova, CGTN, Geneva.
And before we end this newscast, a recap of the day's top stories. Up to 500 Gambians are benefiting from free eye care services, courtesy of the First Lady Fatoumata Bah Barrow Foundation, meant to combat blindness and other eye-related problems. At least 11 Gambians, including 6 children, have died in Bronx, New York, during a fire outbreak in an apartment predominantly occupied by Gambian immigrants. Plus, dozens of small ruminant farmers across the country have received funds worth over $500,000 each to enhance their work. In sports, head of the Gambia national football team, Tom Saintfiet, has stated that his boys are well poised for a positive state in the Africa Cup of Nations. This as Gambian fans arrive in Cameroon to support the Darling Scorpions. Away from home, US and Russia are showing no sign of narrowing their differences on Ukraine in Geneva talks after nearly 8 hours of negotiations. Well, that does it for this edition of the news. On behalf of the whole team, thanks for the pleasure of your company and enjoy the rest of our programs. See you tomorrow when the Scorpions play their Made in Africa Cup of Nations.
are you bracing up for the Gambia's maiden AFCON appearance? Then join us on the road to Cameroon, a special show that will whet your appetite for the Scorpions' historic debut in Africa's showpiece football event. We will bring you all the build-up actions to Cameroon with in-depth analysis and debates on key issues, looking at all preparations for the Gambia's maiden participation in the Nations Cup. Road to AFCON airs every Monday only on GRTS at 9 p.m. Be part of it, and let's see up the darling Scorpions to Cameroon in style. Contact GRTS Marketing, be a sponsor. Together, let's make the Gambia's first AFCON a memorable experience.